Welcome to this Online Standards Development Authoring Quick Review. So in this review, we're going to look at the very basics of authoring, including navigation, adding clauses, auto-numbering, and collaboration relevant for OSD leaders and authors at the beginning of the drafting stages. So let's jump to our project page. So from ISO projects, there's two places that we can access the online document. The first is at the very top of the page, this online document tab. The other place on our project details page where we can access our online document is under the stage information. So if we scroll down underneath stage, we've got a section for go to draft, where again, we've got a little link that will take us to our online document. The other place you can access your online document is through ISO documents. On your working group page, on the right-hand side, you'll have a section further down that says online documents with, again, a link to accessing the document. Now for this demonstration, I'm going to jump over to this draft test document to highlight a couple of the first key features of the OSD. And the first one I'm going to talk about is navigation. So we can see that our content lives in the middle of the screen while we have a left-hand sidebar indicating all the different headings within our standard. And if I click on any of these headings, I can jump right to that clause or subclause. Another way I can navigate in my standard is from the right-hand side menu, which I'll pop open using these little double arrows, where I can actually jump through my document based on tables, figures, formulae, or footnotes. So again, first we'll see an overview of what's included in the document. But again, if I click on any one of these, I'll jump to that section of the document. I'm going to close this sidebar so I have a little more space on my screen. And I'm actually going to jump back up to clause 5. So when it comes to adding clauses, this is one thing that the OSD manages based on the directives. So you can only add clauses and subclauses in the sections that are allowed based on the directives. So I can't add, for example, a clause into my normative references. There's no button here. But if we go back to the middle of our document, we have these options to simply add a clause or add a subclause right in the middle of the content area itself. We can also do this from the Insert tab at the top of the screen to create a subclause or a clause at the same level, as well as annexes. The final place where we can add clauses to the document is in our navigation bar. So if I right-click on any one of these headings, I can add a clause at the same level, a subclause, or a numbered paragraph. I can also move my clauses from the same menu, whether it's up or down. I'm at the top, so I can't move up, or left or right. And left or right indicates indenting or making something at a different level. So if I move that clause left, now it's the next clause, and all of my numbering has been updated. So auto numbering is one of our key features of the OSD that's intended to make your formatting simpler. So while I'm working in the document, if I want to have some great information about metadata in clause 5, and while I'm still authoring, I want to reference that in another spot. So in clause 6, if I'm saying that all the great information is found in clause 5, I can turn this into a cross-reference. So by highlighting where I want to add the clause reference, go to my reference tab right at the top, I can add in a link within the document. So here I'm going to scroll down to my clause 5, which is my great information about metadata. Then I can insert that cross-reference. So now I can see that this is indicated by a little box in the OSD. Now, once you export the document, this is going to look the same as all the other text. But what you will have in terms of added functionality is for this numbering to stay updated. So while you're authoring, if clause 5 about metadata needs to move around, the other way we can do this is by simply dragging and dropping. So if I slide this metadata section all the way down below clause 7, and let's say I want to move that left so that it's still at the clause level. Well, now going back to clause 5 where I was before, you can see that all my grade information is now found in clause 7. This has automatically been updated. The other thing you may have noticed while I was typing in my clause is the appearance of this little lock icon. This indicates that this section is locked simply by myself as an author, meaning that no other authors can edit the content within this section highlighted by the blue box. So in this case, clause 5, until I unlock the clause or an OSD leader unlocks all the clauses in the document. And this is simply done by clicking on this icon. Clauses will automatically relock as soon as you start typing in different within those sections. So you can see it's popped back up to say it's now locked by me. Now, if a section that you want to make a comment on or make a change on is locked by another user, we have different options in terms of comments to help you with this as well. So let's say I want to make a suggestion here. If I select this text, going into my commenting sidebar options here under the comments navigator, I can choose to add a comment to this text. So we can see what I'm commenting on is highlighted in purple. And I can say whether or not I need clarification or some other type of general comment, clarification, whether that something needs to be clarified. Maybe you're making a suggestion to add a piece of content or add a type of content, maybe an image. Should we add a graphic here? These are the kinds of things you may want to use a comment for. If you have a specific suggestion, then what you can add instead is a proposal. So here we're going to start with the same commenting process, but now I'm going to click that I want to propose a change. And we can see the content I've highlighted shows up here, that all of this great information is found in this clause. Maybe it's all of the great information about metadata. We can see my suggestions showing up below in green. I can say, I can add in my motivation here. Maybe it's that we want to be more specific. And then I can save this. And we can see that both of these comments can be easily viewed, even though they've been made on the same section in the same clause, indicating to other authors and other members of our working group what changes we want to make. So those are just a couple of the different kinds of tools and functionalities we have in the OSD to help get you started. It has been designed to have the same look and feel as Microsoft Word for a lot of the different functionalities. So you can see in our start menu many different buttons that should be already familiar to you, particularly for text editing. But as well, we've got very simple icons for adding in tables, adding in figures and images, calculations, different kinds of symbols, as well as footnotes and references. So it's designed to be as user-friendly as possible. And we've got a number of other resources available if you need once you've gotten started. So thank you very much. And we're happy to see you using the OSD.